It's okay. It's up to you. It's up to you.
All right, we're live now.
Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing? We're going to give people just a couple moments to hop into the stream. But today we have a lot to cover. And so, yeah, if you can hear us and see us clearly, please just let us know in the chat. Wally, how you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Just been working away. Yeah, so excited to get talking.
Yeah, for sure. I hear you're working on an exciting new project, a new video for us. You want to give us a little teaser?
The 9/11 one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just actually posted it not too long. I posted it like 30 minutes ago. So
Oh, did you? Okay.
yeah, I already posted it 30 minutes ago. Dude, we never, the Israeli connection to 9/11 is so wild to me. And I found an article, and I feel like this article should be more viral than it is. I feel like I'm the only one who really found it and started talking about it. But there was an article from 2001 Haaretz. It's called Up in Smoke. And Larry Silverstein, who owned the Twin Towers on a 99-year lease, he was very close with Netanyahu. Every Sunday afternoon, the article would say Netanyahu would drop everything he has to do, and he would call Larry. Doesn't matter where Netanyahu was or what he was doing, he would always call Larry every Sunday afternoon. Of course, Larry didn't show up at the Twin Towers that day. He randomly had a dermatology appointment. Okay, what a coincidence. Both of his children also didn't show up. They were late to work that day. Okay, what a coincidence. The guy talked. It just I don't know. I can like go on a ramble with this, but it just it's crazy. It's wild.
Yeah. So that's what the new video is covering specifically.
Yeah, exactly. It just kind of goes over that. I had to spend 20 minutes going over a ton of different facts related to it, just showing some old news reports and everything. They tried to actually pin it on Palestinians the day it happened. Anna Kasparian posted a video, and I reshared it of an ABC News clip or something, and it was before and the first thing they said is the Palestinian Liberation Front has claimed that they were the ones who did 9/11. This was like September 11th on the day. So weird. They were so quick to want to just pin it on Palestinians.
Yeah, that's interesting. It doesn't surprise me, of course. The Zionists have always wanted to kind of connect anti-American terrorism to anything related to Palestine. They wanted to demonize Muslims and Arabs because they view them as competitors domestically and politically in the country. So yeah, I'm excited to take a look at that video after this, hopefully. So, and then before we kill the stream, if you could just, throw it on there so people can see. Maybe we can watch the introduction for like the first 30 seconds or a minute. But all right, so it looks like we got 57 people in here, so we can go ahead and get started. So today, guys, we're just going to recap some things about the Iran-Israel war. As you guys know, last night they agreed to a ceasefire, and it was kind of confusing and chaotic. It wasn't clear if there was going to be a ceasefire. Turns out today that there was, and Donald Trump, of course, had this F-bomb moment being interviewed by journalists. They were asking him about the ceasefire, and he was visibly annoyed and verbally angry at Israel for potentially violating the ceasefire. It seems like he just wanted to be past this. But what I want to talk to you about is the specifics about whether the U.S. attack on the nuclear strike worked or not. So there's some debate over that, and CNN is going after Trump and kind of trying to hold him to account. So we want to talk about those specifics. We also want to talk about what the implications of that might be. And then later we'll talk about kind of why they agreed to a ceasefire, right? So yeah, we're going to talk about the performance of Iran's missiles and Israel's stockpiles, and we'll go from there. So I created a goal in the chat for super chat. So if anyone wants to get a shout out from us, all you got to do is make a super chat and support the channel. And we'll give you a shout out and potentially answer your questions at the end of the stream as well. Do me a favor and just comment in the chat. Tell me where you're watching from today. We have a global audience, so I want to know what your names are and where you're watching from. It's always fun to see where people are. So Wally, if you want to get started, let's hop right into it.
Yeah, we have a video that we want to show on just like what a bunker buster bomb even is. So let's just quickly go ahead and play that. Just a quick short clip here, guys. Let's see, how do I share my screen here? Give me a second. Okay, here we go. Alrighty, I'm going to quickly play this clip.
It's not displaying, just FYI.
Oh, it isn't? Here, 1 second. Oh, there we go. Now you should be able to see it.
Yep, perfect.
Of the GBU-57, also known as the Massive Ordnance Penetrator. It can penetrate over 60 meters into the ground, around 200 feet. To put that in perspective, this depth is comparable to the height of a 20-story building, depending on the floor heights. These examples demonstrate the significant advancements and differences in penetration levels among these specialized weapons. Let's put an average human here against this weapon, which is 20.5 feet long, giving it a streamlined aerodynamic shape that is crucial for stability and precision. With a diameter of 31.5 inches and weighing an incredible 30,000 pounds, translating to approximately 14,000 kilograms, it utilizes its massive weight to generate the kinetic energy required for deep penetration. This heavy, compact design enables it to break through over 200 feet of reinforced concrete, making it one of the most effective bunker-busting munitions in the world. Let's take a look at the parts of this weapon.
I think that's a good place to stop. Pretty wild just how heavy this thing is. So important to note, they said 200 feet of reinforced concrete. Obviously, depending on the material, that may not exactly be 200 feet. But still, it's wild. And then because it weighs so much, it's the weight of it that it's its real main advantage. So the higher up these the B-2 bombers are, the better it is. So they drop it at a very, very high altitude, so that way they can use the kinetic energy. Those are the two main things. But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to know. I guess we'll never know. They're probably not going to actually just tell us the exact number. But I wonder how much they penetrated, because I'm sure that Iran probably reinforced their nuclear sites with a lot more than just concrete, knowing that that's going to be a target.
Yeah, exactly. And Fordo, which is the site of interest, they hit more than one nuclear site, but Fordo is the important one. And we just talked to Mohammed Marandi, the professor, earlier. So take a look at that interview, and he mentions this. But Fordo is the site of interest, and that is, as you know, dug beneath a mountain. So the mountain itself is already complicated, especially with all the different jagged edges and angles of the rock. And so penetrating that and then the reinforced concrete, you have to imagine it's quite difficult. And then there's a debate over how deep Fordo is. Some people said it's 200 feet deep. Some people said, it's 800 feet deep. We don't actually know. But of course, there are levels. And so there is definitely going to be damage, but damage to what? A hallway, an entrance shaft? What exactly are we expecting here? So we don't know. But if you, I think, play the next clip from CNN, if I'm not mistaken, and you'll see that they are discussing and debating whether or not they actually caused any damage.
This is CNN breaking news.
We have major breaking news into CNN. Three sources.
It's not displaying on the screen, FYI.
Oh, it's not playing on this? Oh, my bad. There we guys go.
There you go.
This is CNN breaking news.
We have major breaking news into CNN. Three sources tell CNN that according to an early U.S. intelligence assessment, the U.S. military strikes on 3 of Iran's nuclear facilities last weekend did not destroy the core components of the country's nuclear program and likely only set it back a few months.
That's right. So this is an assessment that actually is out from the Defense Intelligence Agency. That is the Pentagon's intelligence arm. And it was based on a battle damage assessment conducted by U.S. CENTCOM after the strikes, according to one of the sources. Let's go to CNN national security correspondent Natasha Bertrand, who has this exclusive new reporting. This is to that question that has been asked about how much damage has been done. This is a real question. It's also a political question that has been to something that Donald Trump has been sort of dealing with here recently. What are you learning, Natasha?
Yeah, look, Brianna, this is the first assessment that we are getting that the U.S. intelligence community has found about the battle damage that resulted from those U.S. military strikes on these 3 Iranian nuclear facilities over the weekend. And as you said, it was produced by the Defense Intelligence Agency, which is the Pentagon's intelligence arm. And it is worth noting that it is a very early assessment. The strikes were only a matter of days ago, and the intelligence community is still gathering intelligence. They are still working to come up with a full, comprehensive picture of what exactly happened here. But based on a battle damage assessment that was carried out by U.S. Central Command, essentially looking at the images and looking at what was actually damaged. The Defense Intelligence Agency has assessed that the core components of Iran's nuclear program are largely intact, and that Iran's nuclear program has essentially only been set back by months. Now, we presented this information to the White House for comment, and White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt, she did acknowledge the existence of this assessment, but she said in a statement that the administration disagrees with it. She said, quote, "This alleged assessment is flat out wrong and was classified as top secret, but was still leaked to CNN by an anonymous low-level loser in the intelligence community. The leaking of this alleged
That's good.
assessment is a clear
All right, I
attempt."
think we're good there.
Yeah. Crazy. What do you think?
So this is a big deal because it means if this intelligence is correct, then now what that means is that Israel dragged the United States into a war that cost them billions and billions of dollars to defend Israel from Iran's missiles attack. And they carried out a B-2 strike across the planet to hit this site and failed. So what that means is they wasted a ton of money, escalated tensions in the region, nearly got the Gulf thrown into this and caused a war between Iran and other Muslim countries, and potentially caused a depression or a recession in the global economy. And for what? For nothing. So it's obvious that it was a performative strike. And then in response, obviously, Iran responded with their own performative strike on the base in Qatar. So this was just one waste of money, a waste of time, and hundreds of innocent civilians were killed in Iran. It's just a huge fumble. And obviously, it's becoming a source of tension between Donald Trump, Israel, and the media now, because the media wants to make a big deal about this. And we'll talk about that next in a second.
Yeah, and there's also, also Iran would be stupid. They would just be stupid, and I don't really care too much about Iran. I don't really care about, but they would just be stupid to drop the nuclear program. Actually, Nick Fuentes, he posted this earlier. Let me show it really quick. Israel bombed Iraq's nuclear program in 1981, regime change in 2003. Libya gave up its nuclear program in 2003, regime change in 2011. Israel bombed Syria's nuclear program in 2007, regime change in 2025. Israel bombed Iran's nukes in 2025. Iran would be stupid. They have so much evidence of history telling them that this will be their fate if they leave it up. I feel like the Iranians have been pretty smart up until now. I can't see them actually just like relinquishing the whole program. They kind of know it's a death wish.
Yeah, they're definitely not going to, and they're going to now try and produce other facilities, deeper facilities, reinforce them and protect them, because they need to prepare, God forbid, for the event in which they actually have to make this weapon and use it to protect themselves. So this hasn't brought us any closer to peace whatsoever. This hasn't done anything to remove Iran's nuclear program, as you've said. All this does is escalate tensions and make matters worse. And so, yeah, huge failure, I suppose, on Donald Trump's part and Israel's part, because they set out to do this. What did they want to accomplish? They wanted regime change and they wanted to destroy the nuclear program. They didn't achieve either of those goals.
Mel said, agreed. If Trump said he destroyed it, then it's destroyed. Anyone who says otherwise is a spy or a traitor. She's obviously she's just being sarcastic, because Sean McCarthy said, I'm calling for a left and MAGA alliance to loudly agree that Trump totally destroyed the Iranian nuclear program. Open source. White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt said that the leak was totally baseless. She said the operation was perfectly executed. Well, I mean, who's this? I mean, obviously the U.S. The White House has an interest in making it seem like it was a successful thing. I just feel like not enough evidence is out to really assess. But Iran even already took out so much of the material that was in there just a few days prior. There were dozens of different trucks coming in. So even if they did have much damage, all the essential equipment was out of there already.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And so what we all want to do now in order to prevent more war, because what the media is trying to do, this sounds like they're trying to criticize Trump for carrying out an act of war, but actually that's not what the media is doing. You know how hypocritical they are. You know that both sides of the political parties, both sides of the media really are part of the same coin, and they serve empire. What CNN is trying to do is use this opportunity to mock Donald Trump and say, you failed. They're not really saying that, hey, you shouldn't have got into this war because of Israel. You need to fight for peace. you need to emphasize peace. No, that's not what this is about. They're just trying to humiliate him. And the consequence of that potentially could be Donald Trump saying, okay, let's return and go back to war with Iran and we'll get it destroyed for real this time. And so that's why Mel was posting that sarcastic tweet. And I think we should all play along. I agree, Donald Trump, you did an excellent job. The B-2 definitely destroyed the nuclear site. I agree 100%.
Riri, thanks for sending Super Sicker. We appreciate the support. Really sweet of you. What if this is all fake, including a nuclear bomb? Honestly, if he some people are also saying, oh, if maybe Iran's lying and they do have a nuclear bomb, there's really no benefit for them to. They would. I feel like if Iran had a nuclear bomb, 100%, that there's no reason for them to hide that. But anyways, let's see. We also want to share this. Let me pull it up really quick. Netanyahu said on an interview on Thursday, we attack the launchers. It doesn't matter how many missiles they have. It matters how many launchers they have. And we're getting there. I think we've passed half. I actually didn't look into just how much damage it came out with Iran's missile with the launchers. Did you, Ahmed?
Well, it's hard to look into. There's no evidence from Israel that suggests that they actually destroyed half. And there's no evidence from Iran coming out proving that they didn't destroy half. And either side, really, like he said yesterday on the stream, this is wartime propaganda. None of them are really going to tell you the truth. But the reason why I wanted to include this quote in this presentation is because they've been speculating on how many missiles Iran has. So people were saying that this could become a war of attrition. It could last several weeks, perhaps months. And Iran can also build missiles every single month to add to the supply that they've been eating through. So Israel claims they had as few as 2,000 missiles. There was another assessment that said they had 30,000 missiles. Nobody knows exactly. But what Netanyahu's saying here is it doesn't matter how many missiles they have. What matters is how many launchers they have, because if they can't launch the missiles are harmless. So that was Israel's objective all throughout, was to suppress air defenses, take out radars. And we talked yesterday on the stream about how they were able to do that. So go ahead and watch that video. But on top of that, they were also targeting the launchers. So basically trying to suppress Iran's ability to engage in defense and offense. So that is what Israel was trying to accomplish. And they have clips where they destroy a few launchers here and there. But I think this claim that Netanyahu's making about taking out half is probably exaggerated.
Agreed. Freedom Psy, maybe Freedom Syria. I don't know. Thanks for the support. There was a theory that Connie is an insider and sold out the others to survive, and that's the coup from the inside. Is that why the war stopped? Have you heard of it? I'm not sure. I don't know what you're referring. I don't know who Connie is, to be honest. Maybe you do, Ahmed.
I don't see the comment, but yeah, maybe if they can clarify, we'll read it later.
Okay. Well, cool. So let's go. I think there's something else you wanted to share as well. Let me.
Yeah, all of this is related. So in this image here, you're seeing the layers of Israel's air defense, right? So it's a multi-layered air defense system. So if you look, you'll see circles within circles within circles, and they cover a certain altitude and range. So the Iron Dome is going to be like the lowest circle, and this basically protects the immediate airspace. This was built originally for Hezbollah rockets and Hamas rockets. Then you have the medium range, and this is going to be like the Arrow system or the David Sling. And then you're going to have the largest shield, which is going to be the THAAD system, the terminal high altitude. And this is all of these layers are designed to intercept missiles. How this is relevant is, first of all, Israel has the most sophisticated multi-layered air defense system in the world. It's the most protected airspace in the world. Yet there is tons of evidence, video evidence of Iran getting missiles through. And not only did they penetrate this air defense system, but also they were able to force Israel to use very expensive missiles, which we'll go into in a second. But basically, if a ballistic missile gets past the first shield, which is the terminal high altitude, they've already wasted millions and millions of dollars on this missile. So the first layer of defense, Iran penetrates, Israel loses money. Then the second layer of defense, Iran penetrates, Israel loses money. Then the final layer, Israel loses money. So basically, Iran penetrated all of these. And just to intercept one missile, for example, Israel may have had to use 3 to 5 missiles. And we've seen video evidence of that, where several missiles are taking off, even malfunctioning, and Iran's missiles are getting through. So this should paint a very clear picture of just how sophisticated Israel's defenses are and how expensive they are, but also how impressive Iran's missiles are. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next image, and let's get an idea of how expensive the most expensive air defense missile is going to be. So this is the Terminal High Altitude Missile. If you could just read the cost.
Oh, I think this is the one you want me to. Yeah, the THAAD battery estimated to cost between $1 billion to $1.8 billion. THAAD interceptor missiles cost $12.9 million each individual. Yeah, each. THAAD battery also requires a crew of 100 to operate. Oh, it's $12 million each time they intercept one of those. It's pretty wild. And Israel pay. Well, I mean, we pay for that, American taxpayers, but Israel also does.
We're paying for that, and Israel pays for that as well. But you know what? You might say, well, they have deep pockets, right? Who cares how much they're spending? They have more money than Iran could ever hope for. Well, if you go back to the previous one, it should show you how many of them they make per month. So there was another image that you had. Yeah. Does it tell you how many
missiles per month they're able to produce? This rate has been achieved as the program matured. So obviously they have a backstock, and then obviously the United States, I think Raytheon actually, it's not Lockheed Martin that produces Iron Dome. I think it's Raytheon with Israel. Regardless, they definitely have a backstock, so it's not like they're running. They're going to be out after 8, but they're still running. They're starting to dwindle their supply.
Yeah, exactly. So they can't replace these as fast as they're spending these, and so that's why this conflict really only lasted about 12, 13 days. And that's what Netanyahu estimated. Netanyahu, when he started it, he said this will last for about 2 weeks. And the reason why he said that is because he knew that their air defense supplies were going to be low. I don't think they expected to run out that quickly, but it's very clear that there was pressure on them mounting. Now, I'm not saying that Israel definitely lost this war. Professor Morendi himself admitted that Iran didn't have a decisive victory, but they did have an upper hand because of these air defense missiles. It's possible that this is just a pause, that this is like a halftime for the second half of this war, which will come, you have to imagine, at some point. And so Israel collected data. Iran obviously collected data. So both sides are going to be beefing up their air defenses and beefing up their capabilities as well. So it remains to be seen who's going to have the edge. But definitely we know that it's very difficult for Israel to produce a solution for these air defenses.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And ultimately, I mean, Israel will always have superior air superiority. I think that's the main issue, and I can't see that changing. I mean, Iran's like air force is they're like the equipment are like decades old, aren't they? Their planes.
Yeah, very old. They're flying like F-14 Tomcats and things of that nature. I mean, there's unless they're intercepting like cheaper drones or slower drones. I mean, if an F-35 or F-16 approaches, there's no point in even taking off with the M14. And that's why you didn't really see a lot of that. Iran was hiding them. There were a couple instances in which Israel destroyed a couple F-14s, but the claim from Iran was, we left these outside because these were just frames. This wasn't like an active fighter jet with an engine or anything like that. So they keep the frames in case they have to, like, I don't know, swap an older plane out. But definitely their fighter jet force is nothing in comparison. Russia was supposed to help Iran modernize their fighter jets, but there was a dispute over the technology because Iran asked for the tech. And, you know, just so you know, when Israel gets the F-35, the U.S. has like control over the software of the fighter jets, and they keep it closed. They don't share that so that it can't be replicated, but also they have a kill switch. So let's say Saudi Arabia has fighter jets and they want to attack Israel with it. The U.S. could kill those fighter jets because they can control them from across the planet. Israel is the only country that the U.S. allows access to the tech, and Israel gets the F-35 without a kill switch. So just another example of how special their relationship is.
But I think they have them still like 10% less, even with Israel. I think they offer them at like 10%, 10% reduced.
Yeah,
like, no, not the price, 10% reduced effectiveness, or like they like to keep everything that they supply just a little bit less lower quality than what they have.
Yeah, so the Americans get the very best. But for Israel, I mean, this is sufficient because they have an edge over everyone in the region. But Iran was they had a dispute with the Russians basically, and that's what delayed the delivery of these like brand new modern fighter jets. And so it just, becomes a question of whether Iran wants to say, okay, we'll take it with the existing tech and all your conditions, or if the Russians will concede on that. But, whoever they get the fighter jets from, whether it's Russia or China, Iran needs to definitely modernize their system, but it's not going to happen overnight. Like people have said, if they got the fighter jets today, it would take 10 years to like have the entire crew and the pilots and everyone up to speed and actually effective. A good example is Ukraine. I mean, they've been rushing F-16s to them, having to retrain the pilots because they're accustomed to Russian fighter jets. Now they have to pivot and learn how to fly an F-16. So that's why they were renting pilots basically from around the world, getting them to fly F-16s for Ukraine, because that was faster than actually trying to teach the Ukrainians how to fly it and use it against Russia.
Interesting. I think that's everything we kind of wanted to cover today, guys. If you have any final questions, feel free to toss it in. We'd appreciate some support. Some super chats would be awesome. Otherwise, we will see you guys tomorrow. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so let's take some questions. And just, to summarize the point of this video, basically, is this is why you've seen a ceasefire. Israel's air defenses were limited, and, Iran needs to kind of grab a more secure grip over their society. There have been too many leaks, Mossad agents and things like that. So both sides fought a couple rounds, and now they're just gearing up for the next fight. And
that's China. Unrelated, but the aircraft wise, the Chinese, there's nothing comes to the quality and tech that the U.S. has right now. Not even close, right? Like the Chinese, are they even trying to build something anywhere near as competitive?
Well, I don't know because we've never seen these fighter jets fight, but the Chinese have a very advanced 5th and 6th generation fighter jet. And we recently saw Pakistan down Indian fighter jets, which they got from the French, the Rafale, or however you pronounce it. The Chinese fighter jets were able to down them. And the Chinese fighter jets have proven that they have better long-range missiles, better radar, things of that nature. So a fighter jet is never going to have a complete advantage. It's not like a fighter jet is better than another fighter jet at every single thing. Some of them are faster, some of them are stealthier, some of them have better radar, some of them have more reach because of their missiles. So the US, for example, their long-range missiles that are fired, the air-to-air missile from the fighter jet, isn't as good as the Chinese one. So the Chinese jet might be slightly inferior, but because of the extra reach of that air-to-air missile, now they have an edge, right? So every fighter jet from Russia, China, and the US and the French, they bring something different, but the Chinese actually have an advanced fighter jet class. And so it's actually not bad. And we saw that recently between Pakistan and India.
Interesting. All right, cool, guys. Where's the Nimitz? You know what they're referring to. K1.
I want to thank Freedom. He gave another contribution, so thank you for that. Really appreciate it. Oh, and another one. Thank you. I recommend adding a Bitcoin donation button to your site. Yeah, would be absolutely happy to. If you want to send us one whole Bitcoin, that'd be awesome. Don't you think, Wally?
Yeah, I agree. That would be amazing. Oh my God, what are they at like now? Like $80,000, $100,000.
Yeah. Give us one whole Bitcoin, please. That'd be great. But yeah, so we'll just take a couple more questions, and then Wally, if you want to pull up that video you just released, share that on the screen. Wally did a video on another controversy on 9/11, which Wally's been great at. He's been covering the JFK assassination, Israel's involvement in that, Israel's potential involvement in 9/11. I mean, Wally's just all over that. That's kind of the reason why he's gone so viral. So, yeah, he just released a new video. So we want you guys to just see the intro real quick.
You can just find it. I don't want to. It's like, I don't know. We'll show my intro later. It's 22 minutes, guys. But if you just search up Wally Rashid after this, I'll toss in the link to the video as well, and you guys can kind of watch it on your own time.
Awesome. And Freedom Syria with another contribution. Really, really thankful, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for everything. The link to Wally's video is in the chat, so go ahead and click that if you want. Polysporin says the THAAD is such a waste of money. They designed to take out nuclear launches, but they are used to take out cheap Iranian ballistic missiles. That's an interesting point. Yeah, the THAAD was created for more serious issues, more serious missiles, but they're struggling against Irani ballistic missiles. So, a lot of people don't give Iran credit, but their ballistic missile inventory is impressive. But with every generation, they have the Imad missile, the Shahab missile, they have the Fateh, they have the Khaybar, they have so many different kinds of missiles, and each one has a different flavor to it. The newer ones are obviously better, but their most recent one apparently has an accuracy of 9 feet. So wherever it's traveling towards, it's going to hit its target within 9 feet. That's what the claim is, at least. So very impressive for sure. And that's producing an issue for the THAAD and these other systems.
I've seen that Carl Cameron series, Wally. I wonder what happened to that guy. I have no idea. I haven't seen what he's up to recently. I mean, that was like 20 years ago. He's still probably he was still pretty young when he did the video, so he's probably in his like 50s now. Yeah, what's he up to? In 2019, he founded the Progressive News Aggregator, Front Page Live. Interesting. No, he's still on X and stuff. Oh, damn, yeah, he's definitely aged since 2001. That's wild. Yeah, no, he's still around. He seems like he owns his own show now. The Fox News guy was the guy who was reporting on the Israeli involvement in 9/11 back in 2001. But alrighty, guys. I think we're gonna call it a day, and we will see you guys later. Thanks for the support, the super chats. We appreciate the donations and everything, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.